Hey everyone, welcome back to Catching Up with the Walkers. Thank you so much for joining Cassie and myself. And what are you enjoying over there, Cass?
Prime Plus Wagyu teriyaki flavor.
That is obviously Cassie's favorite. Teriyaki probably is the sweetest. And
Pretty sweet.
she's pretty sweet. So you guys know that the Prime Plus Wagyu used to be Wagbar. We enjoy those. If you guys are interested, Walker 15s are our discount code. That's not what this is about today, but I'm enjoying this. We got a polar sparkling water.
I was drinking that on the live the other day, and people were asking me later what it was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is called Blood Orange Lemonade, but all it is sparkling water. It has ingredients: sparkling water, natural flavors, essence of fresh lemons. So,
You know what people said?
what did people say?
I need to do Catching Up with the Walkers solo more often.
You need to do Catching Up with Cassie more often. Yes, you do. I agree. I would go 100% for it.
You didn't even watch it.
And I did. And if Cassie had
The whole thing.
I didn't watch the entire thing. Sorry, I had a lot of things on my plate.
Mm-hmm.
But if Cassie had the time, I would actually love it if she had this entire channel was dedicated to
Nope, stop talking.
Cassie video. Like there's other women homesteaders that do their channels. That would be awesome if Cassie had.
They don't have a J-O-B.
If Cassie had the time.
I mean, that is their J-O-B.
Yeah. If Cassie had the time to do it, I would absolutely love it. Cassie, you want to entertain the idea?
That would give me 2 J-O-Bs, plus being a mom. So 3.
That's okay.
It's almost summer. It might happen.
Okay, there you go.
We're not changing it though, the title, because once I get busy, back to Gary.
Well, I fill in. I'll do whatever I can when I can. That's what I do most of the time.
Because this is your J-O-B.
Because living on the farm, being a stay-at-farm dad, taking care of the kids.
You do just as much, I know. You got pockets?
Shopping at the grocery store.
Got me my hair product today. Joe, you're hitting the camera.
JoJo, come over here, Bubba. JoJo had to come up and see me. He's out here too. So,
and if anyone doesn't know, JoJo is kind of a rescue, and he whines when he's like excited or happy, so it's okay.
Yeah, because I'm giving him attention. He's whining right now. But the purpose of this channel, though, is catch up with the walkers. Catch up with us, whether it's me, myself, Cassie, by herself. It's kind of anything goes here. We can sit down and have a drink and a snack, or we can walk around and do chores and projects. We don't really want to put any types of restrictions here, do we?
No.
No. It's just whatever we have going
Joe
is what goes.
You've been laying in the straw. There, I got you, buddy. Eye boogers, too.
So today we wanted to catch up, though, and you guys know a lot's going on. I was gone for a couple of days this week down at Sulphur, and just before we left, though, we took the cows to, Siloam Springs Veterinarian Clinic. We took the Highland cows and the bull, and so I've got a little catching up on that to do. Do you have anything specific you want to catch up on?
Nope.
Nothing at all?
I did all my thing yesterday.
Well, so what did you have anybody coming out of the woodwork about your Hereford? What's it? Somebody asked me.
Surprisingly, they all agreed with me.
Somebody asked me, what's the difference in a Hereford and a heifer?
I responded to that one.
Okay, so there is a big difference in a Hereford and a heifer.
I think the way I was saying it, and I think the caption down there, it was the same as what they were saying.
Okay.
But maybe they weren't. But I told them that a Hereford is a breed of cattle, and a heifer is a female that has not yet had a baby.
Well, just to throw people off, I'm going to start telling people it's Angus. We're going to start buying some Angus cattle, and just to see how far that goes out before people realize I'm really getting Angus cattle. Should I do that? Like just to throw people off?
Sure.
No, I'm not going to do that. So Joe has now moved on to a full nap. He's going to be sleeping back there. If you hear him snoring, he might just snore. But we did have a lot of questions about the Highland cattle. A lot of people tell me I need to give them another chance. But I wanted to rewind a little bit and kind of go through some of the issues that have been building up to this point. This isn't just like I woke up one day and said, I'm going to sell all my cows.
Also, I think people need to realize these cows came from Bigsby, which is less than an hour from us, because some of them was like, I told you it wouldn't work. They're supposed to be, but they had been there and it was just fine.
Yeah, and there's also...
as far as we know, it was just fine.
Yeah, there's also other people in the area, in Bixby. I think somebody outlined a small farm, 100-acre Highlands. They have a YouTube channel. They raise Highlands successfully. There are places in town. The friend of mine that has Highlands over by Siloam, he has a very large creek. And maybe that has a factor that they have a chance to get in that creek, cool down, keep their body temperature lower.
Which people were saying, just build a pond. Well, we do have a pond. We have a wet weather creek. We have... So, I mean, is it us? Is it them? I don't know.
And that's it.
But we're not a petting zoo or a sanctuary, like you said.
We've done this for 2 years. So it started off, we bought 5 Highland moms. And they were supposed to be bred when we bought them, and turns out 2 or 3 out of them were actually bred, and that's where Missy and May came in.
And with that, it's just like the donkeys that we got that were supposed to be bred.
Yeah.
People were like, "Oh, I'd take them back," or what? Like, it can't always be guaranteed, because one, if they were just exposed or running with one, that's why they should be bred, because that's how it works. And 2. They could have a miscarry. They could, there's a lot of things. So it's not like they were untruthful or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So to their best knowledge, they had ran with the bull, most likely, and they thought that they were bred, and that's how they sold them. So we had Missy, we had May, and at that point in time, we could have had 3 more calves born.
We also had Isla.
And we had Isla, which was the 3rd one there. And so the other
and the
2...
Cutest.
Yeah, she was very cute. She did not make it. She got hung up in the creek.
She lost in a freak accident. It had nothing to do with being a Highland or the weather or anything. The wet weather creek was currently dry. All we can figure out is they went down there and they laid in it, and somehow her leg got stuck just perfectly in a root and she couldn't get out.
Yeah, and so she got overheated, overexhausted.
From trying to fight to get up.
From trying to fight that, she passed away. So our first round of calves, we got Missy and May, and so 2 out of 5. So at that point, if everything would have went good with the Highlands, we would have had 5 calves on the ground. And then we got Geronimo, and we still don't know what caused it, but we lost Charlie, one of our cows, and it's possibly...
I don't think it was a heat stroke or anything. We think it could have been with the Bermuda Johnson grass.
Yeah.
It's the same time of the year that Dusty over at Crosstimber Bison's had some trouble with it, things like that.
Kind of a drought year.
Yeah.
And so she could have got onto some I think it has prussic acid.
It's just a certain point as it's growing or whatever that it can happen.
So regardless, we lost her, and then fast forward, we have 4 cows left, and out of the 4 cows, Cece had a calf prematurely and lost it. It would only weigh 29 pounds. It should have been at least a 50-pound calf.
It was just a little bit bigger than the baby doll sheep.
Yeah, 50 pounds would have been on the small side. It weighed 29. So something was going on with Cece to the point that she either didn't have a healthy calf, couldn't raise a healthy calf, and she lost her calf. The other cattle were not bred. Reba had a calf. So again, 50% of the cows had calves. And this was kind of our trial run. We didn't buy 10 Highland cows because we didn't want to overinvest, but we wanted to give it a good run to see, are Highlands a good fit for us, or Highlands not a good fit? We invested thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and losing on those returns, we lost 50 to 75% of potentially what we could have earned. If we would have had beef cattle here the whole time, we would have not been dealing with that. But you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, Coach.
Amen, brother.
Right? So you don't know until you try. So I'm not knocking Highland cows by any means. I think if there's something that you want to try, you should try it. And you should give it your best efforts like we did. We gave it our best efforts. Again, 30 to 50% percentage of calves on the ground versus what should be is not good enough for us. So we have to call it at some point. We could give him another year, and we could try artificial insemination, and we could do other efforts.
But that's just not what we do here.
But that's not what we want to do. One definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
A different result.
Yeah. And so if we keep doing it, I might just go insane. I mean, Cassie's got me halfway there anyway.
Is there a baby bird up there?
Yeah, there's a baby bird in that nest.
Oh.
If you go over there and start messing around, the mama's going to come down here and get you.
Mm.
So ask me how I know. Well, last time I watered your flowers, she was not happy. So I still watered them, but she was like coming at me.
Thank you for keeping my flowers alive.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I usually just leave that to God.
Well, it's kind of hard when they're under the porch. God can work miracles, but putting a rain cloud under our porch might not be his
Wind blows it in.
miracle that he wants to do. So that's the long and the short of the Highlands. Is we tried our best efforts, and at this point, wiping our hands. Also, Missy and May. Somebody asked me, why don't we get rid of Missy and May at the same time? They're still heifers. We may get rid of them this fall. We may get rid of them next spring. But we still need the animals to eat our grass down. And I feel like we can keep them a little longer, let them finish growing out.
They're not really ready to breed anyway.
Yeah, they're not ready. So they're not hurting anything here. We do enjoy them and want to watch them grow. Being so young, they're going to endure the heat a little better too.
Yeah, and their horns aren't so long that we're more worried about it with the kids and stuff. So there's really not a lot of reasons to get rid of them.
No. And going back to another reason I do want to get rid of the Highlands, rather than their production issues, the horns. So while the horns are very beautiful, they make it a pain to work. So if you're trying to get the cows into a head gate, into a trailer, getting the turn into the trailer, their horns, they got to do this, and then to walk down an alley, they got to do this as they walk.
Some comments said that we needed to look into longhorns. Well, one, we aren't a fan of longhorns at all, but two, one of the biggest things we don't like about the Highlands are their horns. So longhorns are 100% off the list.
Yeah, and we're not going to dehorn Highlands because that's part of the breed, and that's what makes them Highlands, and they're beautiful because of it. So we do like the Highlands. It's just not for us. So guess what?
We're going to rehome them.
Rehome them. Yes, they are going to new homes.
Someone said, do not say, we're getting rid of them. Please say we're rehoming them.
We are, and that's actuality.
When I hear rehoming, I think it's for free, though.
You think of somebody taking a dog and, letting it go to a new home. But they are going to go to a new home because they're breeding stock. Geronimo is a breeding bull. He's registered. He's tested positively that he can breed cattle. So they aren't going to the slaughterhouse tomorrow. They're going, most likely, 99% chance they're going to another farm, and they'll get to try there.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fun. There's going to be a lot going on this weekend. We're going to be taking the cattle off, and at some point I'll give Geronimo his final brushing. I'm going to brush them all up and make them look pretty. But Cassie is going to be enjoying this weekend a whole lot. You want to tell them what's going on?
Yeah, so it's the exotic sale auction that happens twice a year in our area. A lot of our friends come down or up or over to it. And so, I just really love auctions. People can say what they want, but I love to go and look at the animals. I love to hear the auctioneer. I love the bidding process. I love watching two people bid against each other. I just love the auction.
You love the smell of the warm room.
I don't. The warm room smells bad if you go. So we will be at that this weekend. And we have friends coming in. There'll be some country cottage eating, I'm sure. And just having a good time.
Yeah, the auction is full of opportunities to see random things. And it's just, you never know what's going to happen.
The people that bring the snakes and all that stuff, very intriguing to me.
Yeah.
I like the people watch.
And if you want to flex on the other auction goers, you need to have a monkey on your back.
I thought you were gonna say the chair I have to sit on.
Oh, well, that's how you flex in the seating area.
So you can pay extra for VIP seating to sit in like not reclining but folding padded seats.
Yeah, nice seats.
Like but
$10 a day or something.
Yeah, but I have bought a really nice chair that goes on my back like a backpack. It reclines a little bit. It's got arm holders or arm rest and a cup holder. So if you're coming, you need a chair to sit in.
Especially if you're going to sit there for, how long did you sit there one day? Like 12 hours?
A long time. And Gary thinks it's weird.
Like from 10 a.m. to like 11 p.m., 13 hours.
I can sit there and not buy one thing and sit there all day long.
Hey, I'm happy that you enjoy it.
I do.
I'm happy for you. I just can't do it. Like if I can watch a few cows sell, but especially on that warm room day, I can't do the smell of the warm room.
Yeah.
Like it's just like it's
but you
like,
don't have to walk through that. But also, I just enjoy seeing our friends and talking to them. And Gary's not as social as me.
I'm not. I do like seeing our friends and visiting for a little bit, but 13 hours. I mean, I got other stuff. Like my garden's got weeds in it that need pulled out. I have donkeys that are needing to go out on a new pasture at some point. I just got stuff to do. That's all.
To each their own.
Yep. But I am excited to see our friends because I got to get an update from Brandon on how mine and his arrest is going.
See if you're needed in court.
Well, yeah. See if I need to like come down and help him out anymore. I mean, sitting in the passenger seat of his police cruiser while he does all the work.
I saw him say that was one of his best ride-alongs to date.
He said not one of. He
Oh.
said that was the absolute best ride-on ever. Ride-along, whatever. So Brandon, if you guys didn't watch our video on Walker Farm Fam,
and Brandon's with Eddie Family Farm.
Yeah, I went down. We went down to Sulphur and with the church and did tornado cleanup. The night we stayed overnight, around 9 o'clock, I told Brandon, hey, if you're you have time, I have time to ride along with you. Because our other friend, Sean, Keeping It Dutch, he had rode along a few days back.
Yeah, and it ain't fair if we don't get to.
And he put that idea in my head. I thought, man, that looks like fun. And Brandon was like, yeah, I love it. He said, if you can do it because, citizens can do it. It depends on the department, on their policies and stuff. But with his people, citizens, friends can do it. There's certain rules you got to follow. You can't obviously be involved in any like actual things. But you can sit in the seat and watch, and I think it's pretty cool that people are able to do that. So, rode along with Brandon, had multiple traffic stops, got to witness an arrest.
Got to run hot to a fire. And pretty much got the full effect. Oh, and we got to patrol the disaster area and got to look at the cameras and talk to you, and if you come in with Those
so
were
many
pretty cool.
range. And he got to show me some of the damage and tell me some of the stories about some of the citizens and what businesses was where and what they're doing now. And people like Brandon and Daniel down there in Sulphur, they're just cornerstones of the community. Like they are just pillars of the community being there. Brandon doing what he does, Daniel doing what he does, as an active member in his church, and just the different things that he does within the community. So it's really cool to get to go down there and see those guys in their own hometown and everything that they do. But Brandon stays busy, I can tell you that. Especially with the tornado and everything that happened, he's been working a lot of shifts and helping them out because he's needed.
He's going to get a good break this weekend.
Yeah, and he's probably ready for it. Brandon really enjoys the auction too, probably as much as Cassie. Right?
Yep.
Who else enjoys the auction?
Well, I'm not going to say everyone's coming because I don't know if they've all said. But Stephanie enjoys it, but she's kind of like Gary, I feel like. Can not only watch it for so long, but I guess Gary has to keep me from bidding and telling me I don't need stuff, and Stephanie has to do the same to Brandon. But then Stephanie sees something she wants, and she's like, let's go! Which isn't, let us go. I'm just kidding.
Here's my thing. As long as you have a budget when you walk into an auction and you have a list of what you're going to buy, I don't care how much money you spend, as long as you know what you're going to buy in a budgeted amount.
Okay.
But walking in there willy-nilly, and because what happens at auction is you get caught up in the bidding, and it's like an emotional thing.
So when I wanted that black-nosed sheep, I went in with a budget. I knew where I was going to stop.
And how much did you go over?
And I went 1,000 over.
See?
And I won it. And then they PO'd it, which means they want more money. And it was going to be twice as much as what I won it for, and I didn't get it. Well, see? I could have.
Oh, well, you went, you did all you could.
Cassie blinks when she wants stuff.
Cassie's blinking her eyes like, I don't know.
There's 3.
If you tell people what you want, they'll bid you up. You better watch it.
There's 3 things that I want there. I have a budget. So Gary said I need a budget. What was the other things? And I can do whatever I can spend whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. I can get whatever I want if I walk in with that. So
as long as it's in the budget.
I got a budget.
Everybody has to have a budget, or except Congress.
Do we have to agree on the budget?
Yes, that's the whole point of the budget.
Dang!
That's the whole point of a budget in marriage, is you agree on it.
Well, you didn't say that in your steps.
Oh, I thought that was understood. We'll have a budget committee meeting later. And if you guys aren't familiar with Financial Peace and Dave Ramsey, it's a great class. But one of the things you do is you have a meeting once a month, and go over like any kind of new major purchases, things that are coming up, and you agree on the budget. And then after the budget agrees on, then I don't have any right to complain about anything Cassie buys, and Cassie doesn't have any right to complain about anything I buy, because it's in the budget and we already agreed upon it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you like that, right?
So I knew the whole time that was part of it. I was just being me.
And you like that, right?
Yeah.
Because it gives you freedom to go buy and do. If Cassie says, all right, I'm going to spend $3,000 at this auction, and we agreed upon it.
And the money is there because we don't borrow money. We don't use credit cards. The cash has to be there for us to do something.
And that's why it's called financial peace, because it gives us a sense of peace, also gives us a sense of freedom to be able to go to things like that and spend money.
People say, we get something right. Must be nice. Well, we've worked really hard for 15 years to have financial peace. And also, this is a big rabbit chaser, and
it's okay. We got plenty of time to chase rabbits.
Well, the problem is I forgot what I was going to say. Hang on.
Cassie will blame mom brain by the end of this. It's taken a long time, 15 years.
Keep talking.
And it doesn't happen overnight, but having a budget, agreeing upon what you're going to do.
Oh.
See, I kept talking.
In 15 years, Gary and I have never argued about money.
That's true.
And that's usually the biggest argument in a marriage. Do we argue about other things? Yeah. Like him not shutting cabinet doors when he opens them.
One of the number one reasons for divorce is money problems and
Has there been times that I'm like, but I really wanted that? Yes. Has there been times that he's probably thought he really wants that? Probably not, because I usually agree to whatever he wants.
It's probably because I don't really want that much. Are you going to buy me that air compressor you said you were going to get?
That is the problem. Gary doesn't really want that much. But when I see things, because of what we went through the class twice, we've taught it 2 or 3 times, we know the end goal. When I really want something, like right now, I would really like a side-by-side. Do we really need one? No, but I'd really like one. But
$25,000, by the way. I mean, just saying.
Well, that one, yeah. Well, but I would drive a golf cart.
Okay, I mean,
for $1,000. But 1, do we really need it? 2, we're not going to buy junk. 3, the right one will come around. And 4, we're not going to argue about it.
Also, children do what feels right in the moment. Adults make a plan and follow it.
Yeah.
And so, while we do want a side-by-side, you know what the next major purchase probably up is?
A new minivan?
A side-by-side.
Oh.
Probably maybe by the end of this year.
Also, the one Gary's talking about.
We'll have the money saved up. Well, I'm not saying we're going to buy a $25,000 one.
No, but the one Gary's talking about, I don't know if you guys have seen it. Some of you guys enjoy this type of stuff, but my dad and I saw it sitting at a corner lot, and Mahindra
Tractor dealership, yeah.
But the brand's Mahindra, and it looks kind of like it's between a Jeep and a side-by-side.
It's called Roxy.
It's not so big of a Jeep that, like, we have a Jeep, but it's not always functional going around the farm and getting in and out and all that. But it's like an in-between.
It was enclosed too, right?
And it was enclosed. And my dad rides a four-wheeler, but he really could benefit from a side-by-side or something like that. So it was closed. So I contacted the people because Dad was like, I'd come down next week and get one if yada yada. So I started doing research, and they're like $25,000. So one, I'm like, Gary and I are completely out. So I told my dad the other day, he was driving down the road leaving, and I was doing something with the chickens. I was like, hey, he rolled down his window. I said, guess how much is that side-by-side is you want? And he was like, I don't have a clue. I said $25,000, and he just rolled up the window and kept going.
He kind of laughed.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I think he went, ha, and then rolled up the window and kept driving. So that means I don't need to do any more research because even he thinks that's ridiculous.
Yeah. And it is ridiculous because the function that you can use it for versus, like, what about a Ford? Used to a Ford Ranger was,
yeah.
I mean, you can get a Ford Maverick pickup, like a real brand new pickup for like $22,000.
Oh, but that, if you don't want it enclosed, it's about $5,000 cheaper.
Okay. Well, there you go. So anyway, that's kind of a little bit of why we do what we do and why we kind of pace ourselves. You might not see a bunch of brand new cars and stuff around here, and just like the tractor and the pickup and the minivan, everything we bought, we save up for. We
hardly ever buy new, but if you notice the truck, when we got the minivan, when we got the tractor, those look like new because we try to find and buy things that have been taken care of, that people have, it was their grandfather's and that person took really good care of it or whatever. So we really hunt and look for deals and good quality things that if we pay $5,000 or $50,000 for it, it's going to last because it was taken care of.
Yeah, and usually you will save money buying used. We've never ever bought a brand new vehicle, and I think there could have been an exception this last few years whenever the prices were crazy after everything going on with the economy and stuff and the shortages of things. At some point, used vehicles were selling similar to the rates of new ones, but we still didn't buy anything new just because then the new ones, they were raising the prices $10,000 or $15,000. The dealers were.
You can pay this much for it, and then they can decide next week they're back down here again.
Yeah, but what it does is gives you freedom to have choices like you want to have. So, like the Highland cattle, we aren't crying and moaning about losing a bunch of money on the Highland cattle on all the calves we didn't get because we didn't borrow money. And sometimes people do this; they'll borrow money to buy cows. And then the calves make their payments on the loan they took out to borrow the money. And I don't think people realize, I don't know how the percentage-wise, but there's a lot of people that are counting 100% on each calf hitting the ground, or at least 80% rate. And so living below your means and not borrowing money and not going into debt on a farm, on a homestead, in your general life is so much better.
Yeah.
And so that's just... I guess that's kind of our, just how we live our life and what we want to share.
Yep. And with the car, with the van, we take care of it. I videoed the other day what happened at the Target, and somebody said, Cassie, I see you live in your van, because you can see all the kids' stuff back there. We take care of it. The kids, every day we get home, I tell them, pick up all the trash, find this or that,
There's 4 of them.
There's kids, and we are busy, and I haul animals in it sometimes. But just for instance, when we had some foster children, I guess it would be like 3 years ago now. They were older, 6 and 8, something like that, and they would ride on the porch and stuff. And one, though, I told him to slow down and pay attention, he hit the van with, I think it was the handlebar, or maybe just
bicycle, something. He smashed it, yeah.
And scratched it. And, we had to talk about this is why we paid that. But I wasn't like distraught and angered and all that, because when it's paid for, like, it's just a different feeling.
Yeah.
Had I been making payments on that and spent $60,000, I may have like needed to go count to 10 several times.
Yeah,
but it wasn't the end of the world, because though we value it, though we take care of it, it's just a minivan. It's paid off. It gets our kids to and from. It's not the end of the world.
No, it's a tool.
I actually think he hit it multiple times.
Yeah, he did. Well,
not on purpose.
Just
just didn't. He just hadn't been taught how to take care of things.
And it's just like this weekend. Derek invited us to go fishing, or this past week, and he said you might need to drive a 4-wheel drive. So I drove our newer pickup, which is 7 years old. It's not.
Everyone thinks it's brand new.
It's not brand new. It's 7 years old, and it's got way over 100,000 miles on it. It's well used, but I put a few new scratches on it. Probably. I know there was one that came down the hood and this and that. I didn't care 1 ounce. We were having fun. We were spending time together. We were going fishing. Ransom absolutely loved it when we were going through the mud and dodging tree limbs and this and that. So we want to focus more on our family, more on spending time together. We'll be going on vacation coming up in a couple weeks.
Before I forget.
Yeah.
Tree limbs. In the bus.
Mm-hmm.
The apricot tree.
You're hitting a new
apricot. What is that called? Persimmon tree?
Persimmon?
I hit it the other day.
Okay.
And then at school, I hit it real bad. We need to trim those by the flagpole.
Oh, the Bradford pears?
No, the ones out there by the when you pull up to the awning. That's where I get the kids, and then when I go to leave, I really have to come, or it's just. All
right, looks like I'll be buying a new pole saw because those are tall.
I was gonna say, or Dutch has one.
Yeah, so we'll.
Anyway,
we'll take care of that.
Squirrel, but I needed to tell Gary because you can't see the top of the bus, but I heard it.
Put me down as an arborist. Is that
also, the bus is
that a tree person? I'm also that at my job.
The bus is paid for, so I didn't cry about it.
That's good. So Cassie has some new jobs for me lined up. It sounds like I'll be busy with that. If you guys wonder what I'm doing the rest of the week, we'll have a lot of stuff to do this week.
It's probably a 2-week. We'll do it in 2 weeks.
Probably after vacation deal at this rate. So, as always, though, on Catching Up with the Walkers, we try to include some prayer requests. We got back from tornado cleanup, but then that same night in Barnsdall and Bixby, which is north, and
Bartlesville, not Bixby.
Oh yeah, Bixby was on my mind for that thing. Bartlesville and Barnsdall, which is about an hour north of us, had tornadoes come through, very devastating. Lives lost and things like that. So be in prayers for those.
They're a really small town, so I haven't got to look at all the things. I've seen a little bit on it, but be praying for them. And then last night, a friend of mine that lives in Texas, she texted me, and her child's teacher had a baby 21 days ago, and yesterday morning or the day before, the baby all of a sudden started having some seizures and different things. And she's not doing good at all and really needs a miracle. And so she had asked me to be praying for, I think it's baby Sutton. So if you'll just be with that or pray for that family and the doctors and the baby, then my friend Allison, I know, would truly appreciate it.
So thank you guys so much for taking some time and catching up with us this morning. We hope you have a great day, and God bless.
Love you guys. Sorry, I was thinking.